How's everybody doing tonight? This is my 11th discussion. I'll be speaking with Alexis Marshall, my old friend from Daughters as the Sun Sets. Just waiting for him to jump on. Hope everybody's good. Happy Halloween. Should be a fun one. I've known Lex for a long, long time. Can't wait. Just waiting for him. How's everybody doing? Just waiting on Lex right now. Should be here any minute. Just waiting on Lex. We should see him soon. Hope everybody's good though tonight. Lazy Sunday, I didn't do too much. Did some shopping, food shopping, of course, which is a bummer. Um, should see him soon. There we go. Lex, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, all right.
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Sunday, slow day. Not a
Yeah,
lot to do.
yeah, I
So,
know. Like I said, I was just doing food shopping. Always the shitty things on Sunday for me.
we were antiquing today. We went out to like this crazy. I don't want to be divisive, but it's just like wild. I live in central Pennsylvania, or we live in central Pennsylvania, and it's just like there's an antique shop that is just like an enormous sign outside, like the neon antiques. Come get your antiques. Then it's like vote Trump.
Oh,
Whoa,
Jesus.
all right, man. So we're out antiquing and trying not to catch anything that'll kill us, and trying to navigate the lunatics or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, I know. Well, up in New Hampshire, I was picking up my daughter last night. One of her friends had a birthday party, and there's Trump signs all over the place up here.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I didn't know New Hampshire was such a pro Trump up here. But Jesus, it's I don't know. But anyways, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. It's a great honor to have you.
No, it's not. No, it's not an honor at all.
It is an honor to me. It
No.
is.
All right,
I know. Flattery is a bunch of fucking bullshit. But like I said, like I said, you were super inspiring to me. You know what I mean? I played in a couple of little bands, but every
yeah.
time I saw you back in the day play, even though I'm like years older than you always like inspired me. Like you, whatever you were
Are,
doing.
are we that much? Are you that much older? I'm 40.
I'm 49.
All right.
Well, I'll be 49 in a couple months. So,
All right. I mean,
yeah,
because I remember you from the 90s, and I wasn't like there's that old guy. So it's kind of shocking to me that you're 9 years older than me. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, back then I hung out with the UCLA guys all the time and the Fall
yeah.
guys, and I was like, older than those guys. I guess I was the old guy of the gang back then.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first time I met you was in Providence when you played in Cast Off Skin. I caught one set of Cast Off Skin, and that's the first time I came up to you and was like, hey, what's up, man? Uh,
That
which
was
was
holy
how long?
shit.
That was 90. 6,
Probably
5,
like maybe 97, probably.
97.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Now, is there any old cast-off skin demos still floating around out
I
there?
don't, I don't, I don't have anything. You know what I do have is before John and I were doing Cast Off Skin, we did a project called Displaced, and we were like, this was like '95, and I have a live recording of like a video.
Oh, really?
My brother recorded like a camcorder, like the fucking like videotape, and like
Oh,
footage.
yeah, yes, where you're holding it like this on your
Yeah,
shoulder.
it was like a thing like that. So, and I think it might be like 2 sets on it. It's embarrassing. It's real bad. I would love to transfer it. I wouldn't know how to do that, but I would like to get it so people could see it because it's just like it's really embarrassing, but it's funny.
Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah, transferring tape sucks. It's
Yeah.
I
Oh
had
yeah, you do that like that's like your thing, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's expensive now because I had a camcorder that actually worked, and then it shit the bed,
Yeah.
and then now I go to a store to have somebody do it, and I mean, what is it? I think 5 tapes cost me $100. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
You should do some shit with them because I mean you recorded so much stuff, you know. It's like there's got to be a market or something for it, you know. We used to like so Holland, who played guitar in As the Sun Sets, he had a video camera. You could just it had the smaller tapes, so you could put like a small tape in it.
yeah.
And then buy the adapter tape where you like put
Yeah.
out of
That's
the
right.
empty tape, and then you just put in your VCR and watch it.
Yeah.
So he has like every As the Sun Sets show taped. Like
Really?
he would like if his girlfriend was at the show, he would like or a friend would be like, "Hey, record the set," and we have like all like tons of crazy shit, like all sorts of shows, man. It's pretty great.
I know it was crazy. I saw an As the Sun Sets set that Hate 56 like got from somebody.
Oh yes,
and
Sun got that from somewhere. I think maybe are from Mark Hundley, who was. I think it's Mark Hundley's. He had filmed it or something, but and Mark was the original singer for Bury Your Dead when they had 2 singers.
Oh no!
Mark was like one of the 2 singers when they were starting. So, so he's like an old friend. And that's just like a glimpse of how incestuous New England hardcore is. Like, yeah, As the Sunset's playing Bury Your Dead, guy in the thing. It's like recording the show. Yeah, it's like pretty wild.
Now back in the day, I know that you said Ukla the Mock was kind of, when you saw them, it kind of you wanted to step your game up. Just speak a little about not just Ukla the Mock, but the bands that you enjoyed seeing back when As the Sunsets first started, or maybe a little bit before as the Sunsets started.
I mean, bands that like there were some bands that I saw that were like mind-blowingly good, you know, like I've said in other interviews, like Ukla was a band like when we saw that, John and I were just like, yo, this is the craziest shit we've ever seen. Like we're not doing enough, and that was a band. When the first time I saw All Else Failed in like '97 or something, they had back when they had 2 singers, and they were like unbelievable. They were just like a really incredible live band. And that first record, like I can't find, I don't remember what it's called, but like,
yeah, that first record is good.
It's really good. Yeah. The 2 singers, like I didn't dig the later stuff, you know, once they just went 1 singer and I know people got really into that band, but like that first record for me, it was just like, I was fucking obsessed with that record.
Yeah.
Way back. So, but like the first time I saw Airborne Radar was like, really fucked me up. It was confusing and like terrifying, and just like it was like this the motion of just like of genius. Like they were like embodying genius and performing in this like absolutely incredible way that was just like I was witnessing something. I wasn't just like watching a band play or like, at a show like jumping around a little bit. It was like I was experiencing something, and that was like truly remarkable for me. So yeah, like and the amazing like, and that never went away when I'd see Airborne Radar, like, and for years, and like began like, and met those and like started hanging out with those guys and became friends, and like, but even like when I would like hang out with Eric, like, and then a couple days later go see Airborne Radar again, it was just like it was still just like this is fucking crazy. Like it was just like otherworldly, and You know, yeah, there are a lot of there. I don't know. I don't know if there are a lot of bands, but there are definitely bands like that where it was, what's going on? Who's coming in here?
No, it was my daughter.
My kids are not here in the house, so I don't have to worry about anyone walking in. Oh. But yeah, there are a lot of bands like that just like fucking just blew me away and made me feel like I wasn't doing enough. You know, it doesn't happen so much anymore, and I don't know if that's because I'm jaded or because I've seen a lot, or like I probably have it's or my ego probably has something to do with it. Where it's just like when other people are performing, I'm kind of like a little bit jealous and like I want to perform, and so that can be it's hard to figure out why it is. I mean, I'm probably just old and jaded, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought like doing that had a really great scene, and you know, I mean, it's incredible to think back and be like, man, I saw Candiria like every weekend, you know.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
they were from New York. Like, why are they in Providence like every weekend? Like, you know, Overcast was like, I've seen Overcast countless times. It's like, you know, for me, it's sort of like the equivalent of my buddy my friend Brian. He does Atomic Action Records, and he like booked Minor Threat in Rhode Island like back in the day. He's a much older guy and like been doing the shit for a really long time, and is like friends with Ian and like Mackay and Ian Sylvanus or whatever the hell they, you know, Makeup and all these guys, and like has like booked everybody, and we were having a conversation where I'm a big Ramones fan. I was talking about the Ramones, and he's like, man, I saw the Ramones so many times. Like every time I go to CB's to see whoever the Ramones be playing, I'd just leave. I just wait for them to finish. I'd be like, yo, man, you're seeing the Ramones at CB's, like that's so significant. But it was happening. She was just like, I don't give a shit. And I got to a point where I was like, man, fucking Overcast is playing this show too. Like I've seen enough with Overcast, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Or like, but you know, it's cool that it was just so everybody was just around all the time, you know, and it didn't like just this kind of New England, New York like area. Like everybody was just everything's so close. You can't help but like, all right, we played here like the other day. We gotta like go somewhere else. Like you can do a mini tour. You can play like 10, 15 cities.
Yeah,
you know, all,
yeah.
and you
I
don't
mean, from Maine to, I mean, there wasn't a lot of shows in Vermont, but it was like Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut had a ton of shows. Like,
I mean, there were some good spots, like I think in New Hampshire, Vermont, and there was like no real shortage of good bands. Like, you know, I mean, and especially I think like in New Hampshire, like Piecemeal and like a lot of really cool bands were up there. Die My Will, or were they from Connecticut?
No,
maybe?
they were from Connecticut.
All right.
Yeah.
But well, those two were always together though.
Yeah, I mean, it was Piecemeal, Die My Will. Ground Zero was always
Ground Zero. Yeah. So, but there were just a lot of bands, and like, and in Vermont, it was like the weirdo bands were up there. They were like some of my favorite. Like, I was just listening to Non Compost Mentis yesterday.
I saw that.
Yeah. Like, man, this is so fucking good. Like, they were so good and had like a cool like. It's like dumb in hindsight, maybe like prison jumpsuits with like
yeah.
Hold on, my mom's texting me right now. I'm gonna get that out of there. And with the ski masks, and everybody had like stage names and shit, and they wouldn't talk or whatever. They had like a whole shtick, you know. But like, it was great. They were so fucking good, man.
Yeah, they were good back in the day.
Yeah.
I think I saw them a handful of times. I remember one time they were wearing like nuclear like, you know, the suits
the
hazmat suits.
That's what we should all be playing in right now, so we can start playing shows again.
Oh, I know, seriously.
Stop saying the fucking non-compost like 3 years ago, so we can fucking play. Yeah, I mean, I dug it. You know, I was always like happy to go up to Vermont and play, and I don't remember. There's a venue up there, and I want to say in Burlington. That was pretty cool. That was like a real like indie spot, like independently run, sort of like a community center type thing. I know daughters played there a couple times. I think we played there on the American Nightmare tour we did, and I think we played there with, you know, by ourselves or something. But,
yeah.
You know, there was like I can't remember the name of the place in New Hampshire that was similar. It was like another kind of like locally run.
Yeah.
Narrow.
Did you guys play Safe and Sound up there in Rochester?
Yeah, Safe and Sound. Yeah. I think As a Sunsets played there or probably Cast Off Scan maybe once or twice. But
Yeah, and then there was Cafe Savoy in Manchester also.
right, yeah, yeah. So there, I mean, there were cool spots. Like, you know, I mean, it's just a different world. I feel like we're gonna kind of get back to that once this shit lifts. Like, once we can all go out and do stuff again, we're not and without worrying about, you know, dying. that
Yeah.
like,
Well,
that
I
all the
asked.
bigger venues are gonna, yeah, the bigger venues are like kind of, they're in a lot of trouble. And I think, and I'm totally fine with like if Dar's gonna come play and like uh go play in like a fucking, you know, VFW hall somewhere. Like that's totally cool with me. I'm not I'm not worried about that or scared of it or uncomfortable. Like I grew up doing that shit, so that's not like a big change for me to go back
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah, I asked Nick when I was talking to Nick. I was like, "Oh, would you guys do basement shows again when this when, when this ended, whenever it does end?" And he was just like, "I'm up for it. I don't know about those guys, but I'm up for it."
I don't know why he would say that because no, everyone would be totally fine to do that. I don't know how we'd manage it because there's so much. There's what, 6 of us when we play live. And,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, I don't even know if we could fit all of our gear in someone's basement, but you know, I'm down for whatever. I mean, I was just doing, you know, when FI was playing, like we're doing basement shows and all that shit, and that was fun, man. I had so much fun doing that.
yeah.
So
So when I know like when As the Sun Sets, I've heard you talk about when they ended and you guys started Daughters, and when you guys started Daughters, that's when you know, I was first off, I want to say I posted the first album of As the Sun Sets on my Instagram the other day, and there was so many people that loved that and press like, and I know you don't you know, it's just a
it
blip
didn't
in
age
your
well.
mind, but that
It
album
didn't
is
age well.
so loved by so many people. And when I first heard that album, I was blown away, you know what I mean, because it was just for like a, I guess like a metalcore-ish, like, but heavier than metalcore, you know, a little more chaotic. I just thought it was so heavy and kind of, almost like ahead of its time. You know what I mean? I know Ookla was like close to that, but like, I don't know what it was. But when I heard it, and so many people love that album still, and I know it's kind of weird for you to hear that, but
No, I mean, I think it's nostalgic. Like it's nostalgic for a lot of people who are like, it reminds them of when they were like 18 or some shit like that. You know, because I mean, that's like, what was I, 17 or 18? We made that first record, so you know, I don't think it aged well. You know, I think like a lot of music coming out of that era like didn't age well. You know, didn't it's sorry, Reed's comment just fucked me out there. um, you know, we had like no identity and we didn't know what we were doing. We were just kind of having fun, but then like we didn't know what kind of band we were, what we were doing. So, you know, it's nostalgic for me to look back and but more so than like the music itself, which doesn't speak to me at this point in my life. Like,
yeah,
but I'm more reminded of like moments of places we were and situations. And I remember writing a song or recording, or like I'll hear the record and think of like where it came from, the demos. So it's like it's much more of like I'm inside of it, and it's not like a, you know, for some people just kind of see the record and think like, oh shit, I remember that, and
yeah,
turn it on and like listen to it and be like, oh, I remember this. For like me, it's just like it's a whole other world that opens up, and I have
yeah,
to, you know, and you know, probably not my best years. Um, though in hindsight, I'm not sure what my best years were. So, but like, and again, like I said, I don't think it aged well. You know, we were like dabbling with a lot of things, and like we were inspired by a lot of bands, and like, you know, we were just meeting a lot of like the bands that we admired in Rhode Island, like for like the hardcore metal bands, like bands like at Any Cost and like Day After, and so we were like kind of emulating those bands in some way, and as well as like because what's strange is like Rhode Island can be kind of like an island of itself, where like a lot of people don't go and they don't want to go to Boston for shows, and a lot of people won't go to Providence, like,
yeah,
you know, and if you're on the west side of Providence, like you don't want to go 20 minutes to the east side because it's like, that's too far, man, that show's over there, I can't.
yeah,
It's a fucking city, man, you can walk there in an hour.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so it's a really bizarre place. it has like a real small town mentality as far as like, as though it's like, I mean, it's a city, but it's got like, it's kind of small townish in some,
Yeah.
in the mindset there, I think. And I know I suffered that when I was there for a little while. But you know, we were like adamant about like getting out and playing like everywhere we could, and like meeting bands from all over, and like, you know, bringing people into the city to play.
Yeah.
And like, I know we did that New Year's Eve show. I don't know if you came down to the New Year's Eve show we did for like 98 to 9 became 99, or maybe it was like 97, 98 became 99 maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so New Year's Eve 98. And you know, we got like 7-Day Curse and Die My Will and Fault. Ukla played Grimlock, played Piecemeal.
Oh yes, I was at
So
that
it was
show.
just
Yes,
like,
yes.
yeah, it was like everybody around you like brought in, and like the bands I mentioned were like Day After Play, and we played, and Nowhere Fast. It was like a hardcore, kind of like hardcore skinhead boy band, whatever, from Rhode Island. So that Sean Murphy from was that Verse? You know, he was originally the guitar player for Nowhere Fast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He became the singer for Nowhere Fast, and then, you know, that broke up, and I don't know if he went right to Verse or whatever he did. Once again, just trying to highlight the incestuousness of like the scene. So, you know, like so the city is kind of strange, and it's but like we tried to never like kind of keep blinders on and be like, this is our scene and here's where we stay. We were just like, yo man, we're gonna go like we'll go wherever, you know,
Yeah.
like we'll just go play fucking, like we did a lot of shows in Brockton, and like we were a bunch of like skinny runts who had no business like in Brockton with bands like XXL and Punch the Clown and like all these like hard dudes. And you know, we were in there, we're like, ah, fuck, I don't know. And then like we brought in like our brand of like shitty metal hardcore and like double bass and all the stuff, and the dudes there were like, yo, this is some real shit, and like got way into it, and we got like kind of brought into the scene there from a distance. Like we were never really part of it, but like, you know, we knew everybody there and people were cool and like invite us to play, and us, like we're pretty respectful, which was just like kind of unheard of for like a bunch of like skinny dorks from Rhode Island who were like fucking with these dudes, these like guys in Brockton. But so you know, I don't even know how the hell I just got to where I am right now talking about this, where we're going. But,
well, I mean, Providence was always like a special place for me to go to, even though like I'm from New Hampshire. I've lived here most of my life. I lived in Massachusetts for a while, and but I always tried to go to Providence as much as I could, because just like you were saying, the underground scene just was like, I mean, I was a Boston guy in the very beginning. When I was 12 years old, I started going to shows, and the first show scared the hell out of me. So I stopped going to shows for 3 years, because when you were 12 and you saw that shit, I was scared shitless. And so I was like, maybe I need a couple of years to, I mean, I was intrigued and I loved it, but I was so scared I was going to get killed in there that I was like, all right, we'll let a couple of years go by. So when I was like 15, I started going to shows down at the Channel, and
put on a little muscle mass and then went back.
Yeah, it wasn't that much muscle mass though. And then I started going to the Channel and the Rat and stuff like that, which I saw all the, you know, the epic New York hardcore bands like Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits, and that's when Slapshot was like really in their, you know, heyday of what they were doing, and that's what started me. But then when I got older, I started branching out and going to Providence and Connecticut, and still we had a scene up in New Hampshire too. But Providence was always a special place for me, because I mean, the diversity of the shows that were there. I mean, the first time I saw Drop Dead, they played with Snapcase and Coming Correct. And I was like, what? I was in Voorhees. That was the lineup right there.
That's and I'm crazy.
Like, yeah, that's such a weird lineup, but I was like so into it. I was like, oh, this show is crazy. But in the Tin Can Fest that put on,
I was just talking about that. I was just talking about that like a week or two ago. That fest was great, man. We played I think it was the last year that they did it. And we played it, and like Airborne Radar, Mile Marker, Phantom Limbs. It wasn't a crazy lineup that year. I think it was kind of like trying out. But I remember the first year I went, it was like like Reverse Le Man played, and Song of Zarathustra.
Yeah.
There was a band called Shun, Tion, that that was really cool. I don't know where they were from. I feel like they were from the Midwest or something, but like, or probably Florida. They smelled like they were from Florida. They were like the worst smelling band. They smelled so bad. So they were probably from Florida. And but it was just fucking, it was great, man. It was like just outrageously good.
Well, the Reversal Man show that you were at, the video that I talked to
Right.
Jeff,
Yeah.
the video that I posted, I didn't record it, but I put a video up, and you're like right to the
Yeah, right in
right.
the
You can
front,
see
yeah.
you, yeah. And
Yeah.
the Fuckfest video that I recorded of, I don't know who it was. It might have been it was like Purity's Failure. You had a I think your hat said "I love Jesus."
Right.
You were right on the.
I think I ended up like giving that to the drummer for Usurp Synapse, or something like that, or he wore it for something like that. Yeah, that was a cool fest, man. There were all kinds of cool, like really small fests like that, that were just like packed with incredible bands. Like that fuck fest was like was really cool. Yeah, Joshua Fit for Battle, they were so good, and yeah, Usurp played it, and just
Neil Perry was at
yeah,
that. And,
yeah, it was so fucking, it was such a great fest.
well, you guys played the day before too.
Yeah, we played the first, we played the Friday. I think it was like Friday. It was either Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, or maybe it
Yeah, I
was
think
3
it
days.
was.
I don't know, but we played the first day.
Yeah, and I was at the first day, but I forgot my camera. Like that was
Right.
half of the problem with me. Is like I'd forget my camera, or like some shows I would just not want to hold the camera the whole time I was there. I'd actually want to enjoy. Like I didn't want to look through a thing the whole time and keep my hand still, and like actually because I can't stand watching videos that go like this. So it's kind of a pain in the ass when you're still trying to watch bands you
Yeah,
love.
you're trying to. Do you have to like commit to being a documentarian? I think, and a lot of stuff, and like a lot of people, like, I probably would have been a good one when I was younger, because I didn't want to like, I didn't, unless I really dug a band, was having a really good time. I didn't really like jump on anybody or like do any of that kind of shit. I was like, I've always enjoyed just kind of being an observer, because I'm really curious and interested in what like performers are doing. Because for me as a performer, I'd like to perform. So, you know, so for me to kind of like make observations and like not necessarily critique people, but to sort of like, or study them, but just kind of to, you know, I don't know, watch them.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I probably would have been good, like a person committed to just like documenting things, but I think you gotta have like a really meticulous eye and really pay attention or commit to the time it takes to just like follow through and stay on top of everybody. And it's like not something I want to do.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But again, like that Reverse Le Man show where like I had booked a Prayer for Cleansing show where I like was moshing during prayer for cleansing. It was like I don't do that shit. But like some shows, it was just like, yo, I gotta go crazy. Like we played there was our buddy Tom booked one festival. He was gonna do it every year. It was called Together Fest that he was doing in Providence at URI, at like a hall, like a big room. And we played there. We played there once with like, it was Hatebreed. Was it Hatebreed? It was Daughters. No, not Daughters. As the Sun Sets. I want to say Hatebreed, but I don't. But Indecision played, or it was Most Precious Blood. I think they had just become Most Precious Blood at the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was when Tom. No, not Tom. Artie started singing for Indecision. I can't keep track of this shit sometimes. Anyway, but it was a cool show, and Tom ended up doing the fest there, and it was like Shadows Fall and One King Down and us and all fucking Rhode Island, like all the Rhode Island bands that were playing at the time.
Yeah.
And Shadows Fall and One King Down at the end, and that One King Down show. It's like where I kind of befriended Rob Fusco, we became pals at that show. And it was like, I went like fucked shithouse during the One King Down set. I was like, I had all these great pictures my old roommate had of like Rob and I, like me on top of people. And Rob would singling me out, like pulling me in to sing with him. It was like, because I had been at One King Down for like years at that point. So it was like a real, like, I was super excited to just be like, yo, I'm fucking friends with Rob. Yeah. Like, along and have pictures. It was a high for me. So that was cool. But yeah, man, I don't know.
One King Down used to like bring it all the time, which is crazy. I mean, I love that first album, but I wasn't after that. I wasn't like that huge on them, but they always, when they played live, it was always a crazy, crazy crowd, and you feel the energy, even if you didn't like the music so much. Just just the atmosphere alone got you into them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every time I saw them, it was insane, and
Yeah,
it
they're a
was
great live band. They're really good, like a really good live band. Yeah. Man.
I don't listen to him too much now, but back then I was, you know, it was fun to
No,
go.
I don't know the last time. Oh, that's bullshit. I think I listened to More Hate Than Fear came on like a playlist yesterday. Like I have
Yeah,
like I was like in the gym. I was in the basement, like a small gym we set up. I was like
yeah,
lifting weights in the basement, and it's like More Hate Than Fear came on, and I was like, oh shit. So like, I think maybe I was like trying to prep for this conversation, like playing this old shitty playlist that I would like, you know, Disembodied and Sky Came Falling and Zayo on it and shit. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
So when As the Sun Sets like started changing kind of the way, you know, the first album, and then you guys did those last two EP type CDs. What changed the song structure so it was real like a minute long songs? Like what made you guys switch? Just people going out of the band and new people coming in? Is that was it something like that where?
no, I mean that wasn't. John was like John is and was the primary songwriter for As the Sun Sets, like from the beginning to the end.
Yeah,
Like, it was all John, and then Jeremy joined the band, and he started when Jeremy when Jeremy joined our band, he was just kind of going to join the band, and he was doing kind of auxiliary stuff like noise.
yeah,
He had like a sampler, and we played this show at the Palladium. We were playing downstairs, the Palladium. It was As the Sun Sets, and we were opening for Cryptopsy. It was like Cryptopsy and Internal Bleeding and a couple other bands. And for some reason, we got booked. We got on the show, and we were like, "Yo, Jeremy, just in between songs, you do noise, do auxiliary. You know some of the words, so just like sing here and there."
yeah,
And he fucking like panicked and like didn't do and just started singing the whole time. He was just like
yeah.
screeching through the whole set. It was very much a disaster. And everyone hated all these metal dudes, and these death metal dudes were like not feeling it. And then but we didn't have a bass player at the time. We had no bass player because we had to, much like the Daughters, like As the Sunset had kind of like a revolving tour,
Yeah.
where like, people would leave and someone else comes in, and someone's backing them in, and they're gone again. So 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 Jeremy came in and started playing bass and took some writing because he was, you know, listening to a lot of cooler shit that like the two guys who were playing guitar like really weren't listening to much of anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so John did delivering. I wrote some stuff, very little, music wise, because I don't know how to play a guitar. So it was more like I would hum something to John, and John, everybody would be in the room, and I'd be like, play this thing, you know. So it's kind of like that shit. Like the annoying singers trying to like write a song, and or then I got into like a so what 8949 I think has a song like I can't remember the name of it, but it's like one of the short songs, and it's like a Jerome's Dream ripoff. And I was way into Jerome's Dream at the time, and I was like, it's gonna go like this, bah, 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 bah. You know, I gotta mouth the whole thing on. John was like, all right, and John like wrote the song. I was like, there it is, that's the song. And it's like, and when we just had Jerome's Dream out with us, Daughters did. I was talking to Jeff and I like played it for Jeff, and I was like, "Yo, I fucking ripped you off so hard, like for As the Sunset thing. Like, here's something I had to like dig around the internet to find it because you know, I don't have any of that stuff." So
you have no As the Sun Sets anything.
I think I have like the repress, like that City of Hell did when they repress each individual voice, but that's the only thing I own. I don't have any other music or anything. So I had an attitude when I was younger that it's like, well, I made it, I don't need it.
Yeah.
Now I'm in like I don't have a copy of You Won't Get What You Want. I just like
No,
no, I don't. So there's that 7-inch that came with the self-titled album that we did. I don't have that. And I think most of the copies of records I have are like second printings or
I mean, do you regret that, or you?
Yeah,
wish
absolutely.
you saved all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had. I wish I was. I have several different copies of the 7-inch, but it's because I'll make an effort when I'm somewhere to like, if I see the 7-inch, I'll buy it. If it's a version I don't have, but I mean, I'm not going to pay like, I don't go on eBay and pay like fuck $200 for it.
Yeah.
But I do regret it. I wish that I would hold on to it. I had held on to that stuff, but I'm better about it now. I just think like I never got my copies. Like I was like, I'll grab them on tour, and then we do the tour and I forget about it or some shit. But
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. But I was going somewhere with all this shit about the writing, right? So we're talking about the writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have like a tendency to get tangential, and I'll just like talk about something else, and then an hour later I'll have to be like, so anyway, as I was saying, 50 minutes ago. So yeah, so John was like the primary songwriter. I think like we were finding like new influence. Like as I said before, like we were bringing a lot of bands like from around New England to Rhode Island to play. And we were booking the shows, and we were going like wherever we could to play. That we were like making new friends, and like I said, when we met the Ookla guys, we played together in Brockton. I don't know if we played, but maybe we just saw the show. We went to see the show, and it was so fucking good. It was just so sick, and it was like, yo, we gotta like meet these guys and become friends. And it was like same with like Dead Eyes Under. We did with the Dead Eyes Under guys, and who were like a sick fucking like weird hardcore metal-y, like little death metal leaning. I think like deathcore, like I think deathcore now would be like I don't know what you consider. I think they're all much heavier, but like kind of deathcore that was like hardcore bands were like Fault, was like would be like a deathcore band, I felt like. And like so yeah, we were just like we were getting a lot of influences from new places, and that was changing. John and I wanted to like what we were listening to, where we were going with everything, like experimenting with various. Man, I'm getting like a lot of text right now. It's very irritating. So I mean, and that's it. Like that was sort of the and then we got into the Locusts and shit, and like a lot of bands started inspiring.
Well, that at the time I mean, Usurp was kind of doing the short songs, and
I mean Neil Perry and
Combat Veteran Neil Perry.
Combat Veteran, like everybody was doing
at that time frame. It was like a lot of, and I just didn't know if it was through you liked that style that people were doing, or it just what I mean.
Yeah, that was absolutely it. It wasn't like there wasn't like internal influence in the band. It was just like it was sort of like me and John, and then eventually Jeremy, who just like hung out all the time, listened to like try to take in like all the music we could and see all the shows we could. And so that's really what did it for us. And it was like we were kind of finding out where we wanted to be and what like really spoke to us, and not bands that we were necessarily like trying to become, but they were just like bands that were becoming very influential to us, and that we were much more interested in these like, and those like we were saying, Combat Veteran and Locusts and bands like that, and that scene we found much more interesting than it was like just kind of going to the same hardcore shows and seeing whoever like for the 100th time, and like it was like there was more. I think, and I still look back that there's just this like we were kind of like eternally searching for like heaviness, and we realized eventually that it wasn't just like a blast beat or like a Cannibal Corpse song, or like Make Them Suffer is like a fucking heavy ass song. Like that shit's heavy, but it doesn't speak to me on an emotional level in any way. Where it's sort of like it's like it's fiction, and it's fun, and everyone's a character, and it's like, isn't this so dark and evil and scary? And it's kind of like, well, it's kind of comical and silly to me. So it's like what's like interesting to me and like speaks way more. It's like Zayo's that Splinter Shards album. Like that shit is fucking heavy. It's like the riffs are heavy, but like the content and like there's an urgency to it where it's just like, yo, this is real shit. And it wasn't like hardcore dudes bitching about like, yo, you stabbed me in the back, fuck me, or like that kind of shit. You're just like, come on, like this is so, it's like, it was just like I'm dealing with something existential, and like it's heavy, and like Orchid didn't have to be heavy but to like bring the heaviness of just like, yo, life is complex, fucking crazy, and there's like way more going on than me. So I really dig that, and like that is like that began to inspire us in a way that was just like, it became more personal and less like a costume we were putting on. It became more like, oh, this is who we are, and this is real shit. You know, this isn't like long hair and ripped jeans and just like fucking hair whips and like I can do like jun like all day. Like
Yeah.
it's that heavy, but like yeah, I guess, but like there's not really much going on. It doesn't speak to me in any way.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't. I don't get anything from. I'm not gaining anything, any like insider knowledge. I don't feel anything. So.
Yeah. So when you I always wanted to ask you this question. When you stopped screaming and changed your vocal style, what was your mindset on doing that? Because honestly, when I first heard Hell songs, I was I was like, you know, what the hell is this? Like, this isn't Daughters. And then at first I was like, I don't know if I like it. And then I listened to the album over and over and over again. And then I was like, holy shit, this is like something that I do like. You know, at first though, my first initial listen, I'm a guy that's listened to heavy music my whole life. So it kind of took me back a little bit. But then once I started listening to it, I was like, all right, now I understand like where these guys are going, and I really enjoyed it after I gave it a good listen to. What was your mindset on just switching it? I know because you can't scream forever, because then it sounds, you know, you're doing the same albums
A lot of
for 10
variety.
years. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to go with what you say, like as players, it took us a little while to figure out like what we were doing. It wasn't like we were writing this and then all of a sudden we're like, well, now we're this band and that's the thing. It's like, so even as the listener and the player, it's sort of like you're trying to like sort it out. Like I know when people hear like we put out a record and then we put out like we put out Can songs and we put out Hell songs, and it's like, what an enormous leap. But it's like there's 3 years in between there, and it was like we were evolving every single day as musicians and artists or whatever you'd like to call it. So you know, if you're not in that, if you're not in the room, you have no idea that that's occurring. Similarly, the way I don't have any idea what the listener's experience is like on their daily life. So and so was at the shows and then maybe isn't at the shows 3 years later. It's like they've gone through some sort of dramatic life change, and like this is just not for them anymore. Like even if we still sound the same way we did on Canada song. So you know, there's you know, there's the forward momentum of just life, is if you just get into it and you just keep going, and you're going to find yourself somewhere eventually. So you know, that was it. Like for me, I wasn't listening to music that had any screaming or anything like that. It wasn't. I was like becoming far more interested in lyricists and singers that were like telling stories and had more than just kind of one tone to themselves. And it was like I got really fed up with screaming, and there was going to be a lot more singing on Canada songs, but I was too afraid to do it. I couldn't. There's some talking and some stuff on there, but there was supposed to be quite a bit more, and I just, once I got to the studio, I couldn't do it. I was terrified. I was too scared to just try to do that. It wasn't until we did till 3-1G asked us to do the birthday party tribute, and I was a huge, which was we were only asked because you know, Wes Isold, who was, holy shit, what just happened to me?
I don't know.
Yo, what is that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Shit.
What's happening?
I don't know.
Better fuck with the camera. Spin it around.
You're back,
Boom.
kind of.
What's going on? That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Some like super intelligent viewer just hacked into my phone. Like made me look like a dick. So, which doesn't require a lot of effort. Really. What I lost. Oh, so Wes, who, you know, we had toured with American Nightmare and some girls, and I Wes told JP that like, yo, you should ask the artist. Lex is a huge birthday party fan, and so they asked, and so it was just like, this is it, man. This is like my chance. I'm not going to scream this birthday party song. Yeah, and so my God, I drank a bottle of Maker's Mark, I think, and like went to studio by myself with Keith Souza. It was like the where Machines and Magnets used to be located in a different area. So we've been recording Machines for like a really, really long time. So we recorded that song Machines and Magnets, which is where we recorded the 7-inch as well. So I think we've recorded every record there except Hell songs we recorded elsewhere. Anyway, that's off topic. But we went in and I drank a bottle and I was like, I'm gonna sing this. I'm gonna do my best Elvis impersonation and see how it goes. And it was it was great for me. I had to do it. If I didn't do that, I would have been too scared to bring it into Daughters. Like I had to do it, kind of experiment or sort of cut my teeth on it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then bring it into the band because it's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to just sing and be a singer.
Yeah.
And not just some fucking like kid screaming in a band, that just like it wasn't doing it for me, and especially like being surrounded by people who were improving at their craft and with what they were doing, like as far as like John was a better drummer, Nick was a better guitar player, and we had Brent join the band. He had come from Cancer Conspiracy and like really talented players, and so I felt like I had a responsibility to like keep up with that and to evolve. And not just kind of be like, well, you guys can all get better and become better songwriters, but I'm just going to like do the same old shit and kind of hold us back in some way. I mean, I can't imagine like, writing You Won't Get What You Want and me fucking screaming on that record. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
you could like 15 years of screaming in the same band, it gets, monotonous. And
I mean, it works for people. There are plenty of bands who've been doing it for a long time and who are doing.
Yeah, but I mean, are they doing it that well? I mean, there's probably only a handful that are
it's
legitimately like listenable.
Yeah. I mean, that's just. I mean, that's all preference and taste, and that's
True.
That's a different conversation. I wouldn't even attempt to have a conversation about whether that's good or not. It's all based on opinion and preference. And there are bands I dig that have been doing the same thing for a really long time. Slayer is a band I always mention when it comes to that. Like Slayer did the same shit for decades, and it was always good.
Yeah.
But like, and good for them. If that works for them, like, that's cool. Some people make that change. It doesn't work. Like Anthrax tried to make that change, and I think like Sound of White Noise has some good moments, but was that Stomp 242 or whatever? It's just like, nah, man, it's just not the same. So it just doesn't work. It's a risk you take, and I think as long as you're writing music and you're happy doing it, and like in that performing, if you're like true to what it is, I don't want to say because it sounds so tacky or corny or something, but like if you're true to yourself and like that has like. That's what matters. But I do believe that. I think that if you're just like making music that speaks to you first, then people dig it. That's great. And if they don't, then that's okay. And that's how I would have felt with You Won't Get What You Want. If people got into it or not, it's like we were gonna do this record. We had no idea. Like, and we have to keep reminding ourselves now that we're doing it. We're writing a new record, and we have to just not think about like, what's gonna happen.
Outdoing it.
Like. Right. I mean, what do we do? Like, everyone's freaking out about like we got the needle drop thing and like all this stuff, and like, how do you keep up momentum like that? It's just like, I don't know. You don't. There's no way to. I can't imagine that we're gonna do as well as we did. Like, there's just no possible way. Like, that was just huge. That what happened in that last record was like, well beyond us. And,
yeah. I mean, it must have surprised you how well it was received. I mean,
absolutely.
Not that it should be received like that in my mind, but now you guys are like a huge band now. I mean,
I don't know about that.
Well, worldly, I mean, there's so many people across, in Europe and stuff like that are tuning in right now just because, if I'm talking to, whoever, I think you guys are.
I don't.
And I think you have new fans.
I'm like really uncomfortable with that line of thinking, and I don't know. I don't know what we are. People like us, and that's really cool, and we get opportunities to go places. But I try not to like overthink that, and to let that be like, someone I knew, like extended family, was just like, oh, you saw I got this review in Rolling Stone, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, I guess that's cool. I don't really know. And he was like, why are you like, you don't have to pretend to be modest. And it's like, no, I really don't know what to think of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it. I don't really care. I think that's really cool that people dig it, but it's just I can't get caught up in that and thinking that that's just, you know, I enjoy watching music documentaries, but I'll watch like anybody really. Like it doesn't matter what it's about. And Kristen and I were watching the Taylor Swift documentary that was on Netflix, and I don't like her music at all. Um, but and just like I can't remember if it was the beginning of the film, whatever. But they're doing the Grammy Awards, like they're announcing, and she didn't get a Grammy, not, and she was like crushed and like on the verge of tears, and her manager calling me like, "Oh, I know," blah blah. It was just like heartbreaking for her, and I just thought like, "Yo, fuck that."
Yeah.
I don't want to like make a record and then be like, and like wait for the reviews.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's like I'm good with what we did. Like I'm stoked. You know, I just did this record I'm doing with Sargent House, which is
Yeah.
like my solo record, and had like some great people come and perform with me, and like, and it's like, it's not going to do what you want to get into. People are going to like, you know, like Mick Jagger can't capture the success he has with the Stones by himself. Like, so who the fuck am I to think that like I'm going to put out a solo record and it's going to like blow people's minds? I'm just like, I made this record. I feel really good about it, and I'm psyched. And if people dig it, then that's really cool. And if they don't, then that, you know, I'm still happy with what I made, and that's all that I care about.
Nature in Three Movements. That like I love that song. I heard it, and like I definitely like it, and I like the way you're going. You know what I mean? I'm curious on listening to the whole album. You know, I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole record's a little bit different. I think that was kind of like a bridge song. I felt like that was a bit different from the rest of the record, so it got released on its own. But I'm going back in November to like do a cover and try to finish up some other stuff for man. Like I'm like would like to do another EP in the time being, like before. I don't know when the full length's gonna come out now because COVID's kind of fucked everything up. So so releasing a record right now is just like really difficult. So things are on hold. So I'm interested in like going back and doing some other shit, but like I just want to keep performing and, you know, when I can, and like keep writing and do a daughter's record, and like we're talking about doing another FI record. I was just gonna mention that. I was gonna ask you when you started singing and not screaming, did you miss that, and is that kind of why you got into a power violency? I hate genre names anyways. I hate it all. I just say they're convenient sometimes, but they are stupid. I didn't realize I missed it until like I hadn't performed in Daughters for a while, and I was listening. I was in my apartment listening to like Crudos or something. Excuse me. Sorry, it's COVID. It's killing me. Okay, I don't have COVID. We're gonna like trim that and gonna put it on that internet. I didn't realize I missed it until like I got back into hardcore like in like 2000, like just kind of shortly after I got off the drugs and everything, in like 2010 or something. I got like really into it again. I was listening to a lot of shit, and that was like, I was like, yo, I fucking want it. And I texted a friend of mine and was like, man, I'd like to play in a band, like a fucking hardcore band, like Left 4 Dead or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like 20 minutes later, he's like, just talk to Jim. Jim's gonna play. Ryan will play drums. He's like, we'll get together next week. We'll start practice. And I was like, all right, shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like scared as fuck. Like we wrote 2 songs for a compilation that Atomic Action was putting out.
Yeah.
And I was like, the day before, I was just like, yo, maybe you should get someone else to sing. I don't know if I can do this. I was like scared as fuck. And, you know, I got in and like, you just went in, stepped in there and just like did it and banged it out. And I was like, man, this is a lot of fun. And we just thought we were going to do, that's why our name sucks so bad, like fucking Invincible, like, it was a nod to the Swarm. And which was a Swarm song, right? Fucking Invincible at 1 a.m. I think it is. And so and then we were like, oh, we're gonna play some show. We'll play some more shows. And we're like, I guess we're gonna go on tour. We'll do like a couple records. And so that it was unintentional. But I mean, when I started doing it again, like screaming, just like playing basement shows and like touring in a van. It was just like, it was all, I loved it. I
Yeah.
missed it. I missed it. I really, really missed it, you know?
I was late on that too until I figured out you were in that band, and there's one member of Drop Dead in that
Yeah.
band as well. And once I got onto that, man, I was hooked. I was like, holy shit, this stuff is so good.
It was so fun. It was just like so fun to be like, yo, let's write a record. Oh yeah, okay. And like we write a record in a week. And we're like, let's go record the record. And we like drive and go record the record on a Saturday.
Yeah,
Just like it didn't involve like so much effort that's involved in like doing stuff with daughters, which is just like, which is needed. It's necessary, you know. It's like it's a larger vision, but FI was just like, yo, we'll just go play the show, and like we'll go do this thing. Like everything's kind of like on a whim, or it's almost, you know.
yeah.
So I really like.
I would love to. I would love to hear a new album from FI. Oh, that
we're talking about it, so I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see.
We got about 4 minutes left. This is always like a quick hour-long thing. I'm gonna give you as many rapid-fire questions as I could give you.
Shit.
I usually do this every time.
All right.
Favorite New England hardcore band of all time for you?
Oh shit, that's an awful question. I don't know. My favorite New England hardcore band? Fuck. I'm gonna say Ukla, even though like I don't know if they count as a hardcore band, but they were like my favorite.
Yeah, punk hardcore, whatever it is.
Yeah.
My second question is, what was the first punk hardcore show you attended?
I don't know the first one, probably like some small FW shows, but the first time I ever went to a show was like you were talking, like scared for my life. I went to the LNG in Connecticut and I saw The Business, Madball, Marauder, Warzone, Hatebreed. Hatebreed didn't show up. Warzone showed up but didn't play, but Madball played The Business. It was like the sickest fucking shit. So
Marauder was so good back then.
Marauder, I still love Marauder.
Oh, so good back then.
Still, Master Killer's one of my favorites. Like
so good.
So good. I like listen to it regularly.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love it.
All right, my third question: all-time favorite punk hardcore show you played?
That we ever played. Like lineup wise, or just how?
No, just like whatever. Like it felt like right that night. You were like, this is the best show we've played. You know what I mean? Maybe the crowd was wild, or
there was a night we were in Chicago. I don't remember. It was like this like upstairs venue in Chicago. Excuse me. We were on tour with the Locust, and I was like heavily intoxicated, but I had such an amazing time, and we were like, it was a really good time, and there was a lighting fixture, and I climbed it and almost fell and would have killed all these people. It was just like crazy thing that was going on, but it was like, it was just so fucking wild, and I had a really good time that night, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Body. I'm an alcoholic, so.
My next one was all-time favorite punk hardcore show you played as a performer, whether it be off this last tour or.
Fuck, man. These are like really thoughtful questions. I got to really think about this stuff, and we don't have the time for deep thought.
We can skip that one. I can give you my next one. This will be easier. This is an easier one.
Yeah, give me an easier one.
My next one's what was the last movie you watched?
We watched American movie last night. Yeah, documentary. Like a favorite of mine.
Favorite all-time horror movie, since it's Halloween time.
I always loved Dawn of the Dead, but the Night of the Living Dead 1990 remake.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorites. It's one of my favorites, absolutely.
That is good. Have you seen Possessor yet?
No.
No, that's a movie you got to see. Nick told me about that. I watched it. It blew me away.
All right.
It's Cronenberg's son directed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really, really good.
Okay.
We got about 30 seconds. I just want to thank you so much, Lex, man. I've known you for a long time, and you're very special to me. Yeah, I just want to thank you so much for doing this and taking the time out on a Sunday to do this with me.
Yeah, of course.
And I wish you well, and we're always talking back and forth anyway. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, it's a good time. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, take care, bro.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye.